Hello, everyone. I am ItsKim. Thank you so much for coming over to my stream. I am so excited to be here today because this little stream is going to be my review of Britney Spears' memoir, The Woman in Me, which was released today. Thank you to anybody who is coming over from my friends at Popcorn Planet. You guys are amazing. I love you. Thank you, Annie and Steph, for having me. I wanted to share this with you guys. I had promised my space angels last night that as soon as I was done reading the book, I would let you guys know, and I would do my best to get on today to talk to you guys about my thoughts about the book. So that is why we are here. That is what we are doing. I do want to just wait a minute and hope, just wait for I'm getting a redirect. I'm getting graded from Popcorn Planet, which is very kind of them, but I don't want to get super started until everybody is here. So I hope that that makes sense, and you guys are just gonna have to deal with me for a few minutes and say hi to Lacey. Hi, Lacey. Oh, hello, producer sister is here in the room. Are you staying, producer sister, or are you going upstairs? You are welcome to stay. You are always welcome to stay, but you don't have to. I understand. I know this is later than normal, and producer sister has a life. I don't, but she does. Oh my goodness. So I will show you guys then, because I can. I was very excited because I will tell you, here was the chain of events that happened last night. I was hoping I was doing my best to try to get an advance copy of this book. It was a freaking nightmare and a mess. I honestly think probably the best thing I should have done was gone to one of the Crossroads events that happened last night and got the book there and ran. Like, I don't like, and just left. Yeah, and the closest one, unfortunately, to us is like a couple hours away. So it wouldn't have been super convenient for us to do that, but that probably would have been the only way I could have got it. But anyway, producer sister came through, was able to get it before midnight, which was amazing. So thank you very much to producer sister. And I started my work. I started to read it. I started to take notes. My laptop actually died at 3 o'clock in the morning taking notes, and I didn't want to come downstairs and get my cord and wake everybody up. So I didn't do that. But the notes that I have up until this point, and I got to chapter 33 taking notes, and I had 11 pages worth of notes. And there was so much. There's so much to talk about with this. I finished reading it this morning around 4 a.m. Then I proceeded to try to lay down and get some sleep. Then I got up today and prepared to be on with popcorn, and now I am here. So, this is what the book looks like if you have not seen it yet. Some really nice pictures of Brit, and I really I really like the design of the book. I thought it was lovely. I just flickered on. And okay, are we good? That was very weird. Everyone coming in now. Did it break me?
Yep, the raid broke.
The raid stream. Thank you ever coming in. Thank you all for being here. Um it gets fixed. Hang on. Stay here. It's getting fixed. Ugh. Okay, this is very weird. This is very weird. Okay. Um Nothing's coming back. Okay. This is super duper weird. Here's what we're gonna do. Um, let me figure this out. Oh, okay. We have a buffer. Now we have a black screen.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Hello, everyone. I am so upset right now because this is not how I wanted to greet all of you. So give me one moment. I'm going to pop out and pop back in, and hopefully everything's good. Hello, everybody. I hope that that fixed it. I hope we're good. Please let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, all that good stuff. Okay. Because that's not what I'm okay, good. Now I can see it. Now I can see it. Good. Hello, everyone. I am so sorry. We had a moment where things broke down. I'm very sorry about that, but welcome to everyone who is here. Um, I don't know how many of you guys are here. I'm seeing many people through the chat. Thank you all for being here. Thank you very much, Steph. Much love to you and Andy. Thank you for having me today. Yeah, my YouTube window has broken because we have now just shattered the record of how many people I've ever had watching me at the same time on stream. Thank you guys all so much for coming. So here we go. I'm not gonna, make this take forever because I know why you guys are here. So let's do it. My thoughts on Britney's memoir, The Woman in Me. Um, I do want to say just before we start, thank you so much to Shauna Brown that gifted 10 memberships before this stream even really started. Shauna, thank you for always supporting me and the way you do and gifting memberships. If you are interested in getting a membership, please consider joining. Um, it's for my community that's called Space Angels. I'd love to have you all. There's lots of behind the scenes content. We have lots of fun, and I have lots of plans on this channel for the Space Angels community. And also, if you are in a place where that's just something that you can't do right now, consider allowing gifts because we tend to have a lot of gifting wars here. So, yeah, that's something to consider. So, thank you very much to Shauna. And also, thank you to Joanne, a member of 7 months. And yes, saying hello to gorgeous Lacey. She just laid down. Thank you very much. All right. I think we are good to go. So, I finished reading the book this morning at about 4 o'clock in the morning. Um, I read it in about once. I think I took 1 hour break, but pretty much in the same sitting. And I have to say, I was happy. I was pleasantly surprised. So I'm going to go through what I thought about the book. So just to be clear, this stream will include speculation and opinion. Should not be taken as fact. But I am going to explain why I feel that way, and I hope that that's okay. Also, hello, YouTube human reviewer. Nothing explicit will be shown. I know this book has a picture of Britney not wearing a shirt, but nothing explicit is going to be shown here. I will do my best to abide by the guidelines and do right by you. All right. So, one thing I did want to let you guys know, because I know a lot of people, they go to a review because they want to know what to expect in the book. They're trying to get an idea of whether or not this is something they want to do. So this is what I can tell you you can expect when you pick up this book. To be clear, I'm going to do my best to not get into a lot of spoilers. And I have had a few people say, don't talk about this because I haven't finished reading it yet and you're going to ruin it. You can't avoid spoilers at this point with this book. It's everywhere. And I can't the difficult thing about this is that for some people, there are things that are spoilers that for other people, they're not because we've known it for years. So it's hard for me to be able to tell what would be considered a spoiler in this case. I hope that makes sense. Also, thank you very much, Katie Artist 94, that just gave 5 memberships, which is so kind of you. I'm just going to see if I can get that up on screen. Thank you very much. That brings our total of gifted memberships to 15 today. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Oh, okay. This is overwhelming. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Thank you guys. All right. So, this is what you can expect in this book. Britney's book is an overview of her life, starting with her beginnings in Kentwood and to roughly present day. We're not so much talking about stuff that's happened in the past year, but up until getting out of the conservatorship, and I'd say a couple months after that. What to expect? Again, Britney will talk about some of her dark family history. This includes, unfortunately, self unaliving, ABUSC, and CSA. is all in her family history. I do plan on doing a stream for members only where I can talk about this with a bit more freedom because, again, YouTube human reviewer, I guidelines are hard sometimes, but as always,
I'm trying. I'm trying.
but I don't know how to go through that topic without, saying the wrong thing and being a minefield. So, that was a thing. She talks about her childhood experiences working, what she liked, what she didn't. She goes over recording Baby One More Time, and then descriptions of each era, of each album, for the most part, are brief. For example, she mentions Femme Fatale once. And it's literally like after the Femme Fatale tour, if I remember correctly. So there are some periods in this book that she does not get super deep into, which it was a bit of a bummer for me, but that is very much a thing. She explains a lot about her relationships with Justin Timberlake and Kevin Federline. I would say to summarize, she loved them both and they both suck. I think is it is be what it be. It covers the birth of her sons, her declining mental health. She admits to struggling with depression, anxiety, as well as taking meds at one point in a way that she should not have. She details the conservatorship and how it it really just took away so much of her independence and her confidence. And she ended up shutting down into a childlike robot. But she went along with it because she wanted to see her children. Um, and it's really, really sad. She does call out Lou Taylor, Robin Greenhill, TriStar Entertainment, and Black Box Security. Not as many details as I know a lot of fans would like to see, but they are acknowledged, and I think that that is an important thing to keep in mind. She did talks she does that she then talks about how she started to stick up for herself. She found her passion working again on Glory and wanted out of the conservatorship. The backlash of her starting to stick up for herself, which then led into her being institutionalized against her will, her discovery of the Free Britney movement and fighting for freedom. Now, that's pretty much that would be the summary of what is in this book. And like I said, I don't know how much of that would be considered a spoiler, because again, so many of those things we knew were happening if you follow the life of Britney Spears. Um, I do want to tell you guys what I liked about the book. Um, the number one thing I loved about this book was that Britney is accountable for the times that she could have handled things better, the times where she was wrong, the times where she said she was mean to people. But all of that goes alongside her desperately trying to go through life, keeping people around her happy, and her having difficulty navigating those things, and also the struggle that she experienced with, I believe, prenatal and postpartum depression. I hope I said that right. But the depression that she experienced surrounding the pregnancies. Um, I do just also want to say welcome to NPNG Creative Media for becoming a member of Space Angels. Hello, welcome. I'm so glad to see you here. Joanne then gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much. So is that we at 26? 26 members today. Thank you very much. I'm so glad you're all here. And Lulu's mom, thank you for the super chat. Love this community. We love you. We love you. Thank you. And we'll keep going. So I loved the accountability because I think one of the things that Brittany has said in the past is that she doesn't want to be a victim. She said she's been surrounded by victims her whole life, and that's not what she's here to do. So even as she's talking about the things that people have done wrong to her, she's also admitting where she messed up. And to me, I think that that's just, it speaks to her character. And I appreciate that insight into her life. In the same spirit, she also holds a lot of people accountable and does not go easy on her family. She does seem to have a soft spot for her brother Brian. I learned a lot about her relationship with Brian in this book, her older brother, but also was very wow. Did we hear a lot about Lynn Spears in this book that surprised me? I um I don't know how much I really like this woman at all. At all. And I don't wanna get super into it because I feel like that may be a bit of spoilers, but yeah, Lynn, what she allowed was insane. Absolutely insane, and it really, I think, adds to I believe Jamie Lynn at one point said that her mom was more interested in keeping her dad or not hurting her dad's feelings than what needed to be done. So, like, Jamie's feelings were the most important thing in the household. Um, you definitely see the dysfunction and at points what I would consider to be not safe environments that Lynn enabled raising her kids. And that also shows you why Brittany had so much motivation to change her life and to make something of herself. And that she wanted to make things better for her younger sister. That she wanted to make sure that she had a good place to grow up, the house and everything that, and we've talked about that a little bit on this channel before. But it's very sad. And at points I was just shaking my head. I was just shaking my head at just how awful some of the things that were allowed to happen in Britney's home growing up. It's just terrible. It's terrible, and I completely understand why Britney does not want these people in her life, especially without accountability. Intertwined with the more scandalous parts of her life are little tidbits. For example, this is a little spoiler. She does share a very, very briefly about a time that she shared an elevator with Robin Williams. There's a lot of really fun moments like that throughout the book of these experiences that she had, and I really enjoyed that. Seeing that perspective from her. Brittany also admits that she has been lied to for 13 years, which I think is something we need to keep in mind as we go through this book. I wonder now, looking at everything, if there were parts of Brittany's story over the past 13 years that she was told one thing and something else happened entirely. And I know there's a lot of people that are talking about inconsistencies, potentially, depending on what other things have been said. Um, and I haven't gone through the timeline in depth as much as I would like to. But I can tell Brittany was she's trying to explain things in chronological order. She's trying to do things that way, but when you're dealing with so much trauma, when you're dealing with all these things, sometimes it's difficult. And she admits to having things being repressed in her mind. Um, and I think for me, there are parts of it, and I'll get into it and when I talk about the things that I don't like as much. I wonder what we will see in the future from her as she continues to heal. And I will leave it at that. So, what did I not like about this book? Well, Britney Spears writes very briefly in some situations. More details would have been nice about certain things, but that also might just be me because I want to know everything. um, so some things are addressed, but I would love for them to be addressed in more detail. That being said, Brittany has always kind of written in broad terms, and she doesn't necessarily like to get into a huge amount of details sometimes. So that didn't overly surprise me. And the other thing that really hit home for me was as she was going through the beginning of her career, she was talking about the performances that she did, everything from like the VMAs to the Super Bowl and all that type of stuff. And it's very much like I performed the Super Bowl. Then I did this. And then I did this. And I'm like thinking in my head, I'm going like, these were such iconic pop culture moments that just like shook the world, and I was like, "I wanna hear more about this. I wanna hear what it felt like, what it was like, how it went down, stuff behind the scenes and everything else," and then I just kinda realized, I mean, pretty much everything from the time Baby One More Time came out and forward, like, she was just making, iconic performance after iconic performance, so it's like, for us, we look at it and go like, "What a moment in pop culture," but for her, she could be like, "Yeah, that was Tuesday." Which I mean is just it's such a testament to the living legend that she is, but there were some things I'm always gonna want more details, and that doesn't mean I'm entitled to them, but that is one thing that I have seen as a criticism, and it is one that I share. Um, let me keep going. In some ways, to that same token, I feel like the book was too short, and I wonder how much of that had to do with the legalities surrounding this book and the topics that she went over. I have heard that originally it was supposed to be longer and certain things were cut. I don't know what was cut. because there's a lot of stuff in there that I think has been quite shocking, as we've seen some of that come through in the press. So it kind of makes you wonder if she kept in, so many of these events, but then some stuff got cut. What was it and why? And I wonder if that's something that in the future we will find out more as Brittany continues to heal, as things progress legally, and hopefully she can be in a place where she can share more of those things with us. But it may just be timing is everything, and it's not the time. On a personal note, another thing I did not like that made me sad was she did reveal, and this is a spoiler, that she didn't like the Onyx Hotel tour. And that made me sad because I love the Onyx Hotel tour, and I'm sad that something that I love made her so unhappy. But that being said, it was definitely through a time in her life where she felt that it was dark. She was trying to heal. She felt the show was too spicy, and I mean, the show is spicy. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's definitely a I'm not putting that on for my niece for a long time. But I don't think it was I don't think it was necessarily too much, but it definitely was a spicy show. Other thing I will say, I was hoping for more exclusive photos to be in the book, like other celebrity memoirs I have read. However, I mean, we talked about this a little bit on my show on Monday that Britney is one of the most photographed people in human history. I maybe this just something she didn't really want to do, was to share more of those photos because she has been published so many times and filmed so many times and, you know, family photos being shared and things like that. And I think that's also part of why she posts on Instagram the way that she does because she gets to control it. So maybe it's just if she was going to post personal pictures, she's going to do it through Insta. She's going to do it the way that she wants to do it. I don't know. But that was just something I had hoped that like there would be like a center section in the book. You know what I mean? Because I know Mariah Carey's had that. Let me know in the chat if you've read celebrity memoirs and you've seen that because I know that that's a pretty normal thing to see. But it be what it be. So what you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? I do also wish that the audiobook was completely read by her. Now, full disclosure, the audiobook for me came through at 3:30 in the morning when I was almost done reading the book. So I have not listened to the audio version of this book yet. And my understanding is that Brittany read the prologue, and then the rest of the book is read by Michelle Williams. Um, and I've heard that it's good, but I personally haven't listened to it, so I can't speak to that at this point. However, going through this book, I understand why Brittany didn't want to read it because I think, especially when she's talking about the boys, at one point she talks about trading her freedom to be able to be in her boy's life. She talks about the ending of the pregnancy. She talks about some of the most traumatic things that have ever happened to her. And sometimes for trauma patients, having to go through all of that is re traumatizing. It is difficult. And I would imagine writing it in the first place was tough. And Brittany has said that it was hard and she worked really hard to get to that place. I wonder if reading it and potentially not only reading it like once, because I would assume when you're recording audio, you have to do it multiple times and just say it over and over again, it may have been too much for her. So, if that is the case, I completely agree with the decisions that were made. Her recovery must come first above everything else. Whatever Brittany can share with us right now after coming out of this nightmare of a conservatorship, I think is a blessing. And I'm very thankful for anything she is willing to share with us because ultimately, I remember the day when she was freed, and I was very emotional, and I think I said to my husband, I said, "I don't care if she never posts another thing on Instagram again, if she never releases another song, if she never does another thing. All I wanted was for her to be free, and if this is what she wants to do, that's good. That's good. So whatever works for her, I am down with. My personal preferences at the end of the day, I don't feel like they should really matter that much." Um, One thing producer sister and I spoke about at length was her opinion on the documentaries. It seemed that Britney had feelings about the documentary, meaning, I believe, framing Britney Spears. So just trying to get to the part of the book here. Um, so she said the time between when I started pushing hard to end the conservatorship and when it finally ended was a rough period in limbo. I didn't know how things would turn out. Meanwhile, I couldn't say no to my dad or make my own way yet and felt like every day there was another documentary about me on yet another streaming service. This was what was going on when I learned that my sister would be coming out with a book. I was still under my father's control and I couldn't say anything to defend myself. I wanted to explode. Seeing the documentaries about me was rough. I understand everyone's heart was in the right place, but it hurt that some old friends spoke to filmmakers without consulting me first. I was shocked that people I trusted went on camera. I didn't understand how they could talk about me behind my back like that. And if it was me, I would have called my friend to see if it was okay if I talked about her. There was so much guessing about what I must have thought or felt. And I understand that that would be very frustrating. I mean, okay, I can't understand it because I've never been through it. I don't know how that feels. And I'm not going to pretend that I know how that feels. Um, but I think the difficulty with this was that at times when Brittany writes these things, I don't know if she fully understands how much when people tried to get to her, the pushback that they received. Um, and there's been numerous examples of it. There's been a lot of posts from dancers and other people that she's worked with that tried to get her to be involved in things that they wanted to do. And they were told no, or they were told that she was told and she wasn't interested. There were all those types of things. Um, I don't know how many of the people that sat down for that interview were able to speak with her. Now, there could be something I don't know. In all fairness, I don't know. Um, but I feel like it's one of those points that I can see both sides, and it's a toughie. It's a toughie. But I hope that in time, Brittany can see that I think for a lot of those people, they did what they did out of love. Um, so that's one thing. All right. So overall, I would give the book a high rating. I enjoyed it. Even with my obsessive knowledge about Britney, I learned things, and those are some of the things that I'm not going to talk about in this review because I feel like that is kind of spoilery. Um, but I was very encouraged that I didn't feel like I was reading a thing that I had already read, which was nice. Um, and I'm happy to see her be able to put it all in her own words and present it the way that she wanted to. There also were a lot of moments of Britney's sass that I thought were great. And I love seeing those moments. For example, one of the things I previously reported on was when talking about Kevin's rap career. She said something to the effect of, he takes it so seriously. Bless his heart. Like just those types of moments of Britney um, being able to say things the way that she wants to, especially when for so long she's done her best to not um, lash out back at people when people have said things about her. So it's nice to kind of see that little side of her. Um, and it's nice to hear her actually address these things as opposed to trying to gloss over them to keep the peace. I think there's been a lot of things over the years. People have said messed up stuff to her or about her, and she has just tried to keep her head up, ignore it, let it roll down her back, and keep hustling. So finally, to hear her say, and address things that were said about her that bothered her or things that people did that bothered her, it's so refreshing, and I'm very happy to see it. The whole book reminds me of a quote that she posted on her website in 2007. And the quote is, "You'll never see it my way because you're not me." And the thing is, that is 100% true. We do not know how it feels to be Britney Spears by reading this book, but I can tell you, I think it helps us be able to understand a little bit. And it's a very rare opportunity, in my opinion, with pop culture to be able to have an account of someone's life like this that is as famous as Britney is. Um, that's very encouraging to me to see. Um, because I think a lot of women that have been in a similar level of fame to Britney, we didn't really get those opportunities. So I would say that this is an important read because not only does it talk about one of the most famous people on the planet, not only does it talk about one of the most successful people on the planet that has changed pop culture dramatically, but it also talks a lot about the misogyny in the world that Britney really felt the brunt of in the early 2000s and into the mid 2000s. It is a mirror to our culture as far as how we treated celebrity at the time. And it's amazing to think about, how Britney was treated by the paparazzi, the laws that have now gone into effect that paparazzi can't do this to celebrities anymore, all those types of things. Britney is someone who has changed human history. And I understand that some people may think that that is absolutely a ridiculous thing to say, but I disagree. I think Britney Spears has changed human history. And I think that for that reason, her voice deserves to be heard, and she deserves to be given the benefit of the doubt and the space for people to actually listen to her and take what she's saying seriously and try to see things from her perspective. So I would say if you have not read the book, if you weren't planning on reading it, I'd do it. I would say read the book, even if you're not a super big Britney fan. It's a very interesting look at the world. It's not a difficult book to read. I found it to be very smooth. One thing I have shared previously is I have AD4K. I am neurospicy, and I have a lot of trouble with my attention span. So reading for me is always very difficult. I've always struggled with it. Not that I have trouble reading, but just being able to maintain the focus and to be able to retain information is very difficult for me sometimes after a bit. However, I have learned that I can read better if I have an audiobook and then I'm actually reading the book at the same time. So I'm seeing it visually and audio. But obviously, the way that things went down last night trying to get this book, I didn't have the audio tape in time. It wasn't going to happen and I needed to get through this book. And I was very concerned that I was going to have to um find an AI program of some kind to be able to read this to me so that I would be able to retain the information, and I did not. I it was simple enough, it was well written enough that I could take in that information and I didn't find it to be overwhelming. So, for that being said, I think it is a good read. It's a tough read at points, but it is a good read, and it's not gonna take you eons and eons and eons to read it. It took me about 6 hours in total to get through it, so if you're looking for something to read, I'd go for it. I would go for it. I think it has a lot of value, even for people that aren't huge fans of Britney. So overall, good book. I am going to be continuing to cover the book and breaking down specific um, parts of it. And I'm wondering if I can show you guys. Originally, you guys had asked me to break down each chapter. I'm going to tell you guys right now that is not happening because there are 49 chapters, and I don't think any of you want to sit through 49 videos of me talking about this book. That's a lot. That's a lot, and I don't want to do it. So, what I've done is I have broken up the book into 7 sections, and that's how I'm going to go through it with further coverage. There will be spoilers, there will be quotes. I'm not censoring myself for this. If you don't want to be spoiled, you need to read the book. I can't help you. I can't help you. I have been waiting for this book for almost 2 years now. I was up till 4 in the morning reading it so I can give you guys good information, and I'm going to do it. So, the parts of the book that we're going to be doing are her childhood, which is chapters 1 to 8. I would say the eras of Baby One More Time to In the Zone / her relationship with Justin Timberlake. That's chapters 9 to 17. So that's the second one. Then there's the Onyx Hotel Tour, K-Fed and the Boys. That's chapters 18 to 23. That's the third one. Partying Custody Blackout is what I've called it. Chapters 24 to 29. That's part 4. Conservatorship, Losing Passion, that struggle in her life, which is chapters 30 to 37. That's part 5. Then there would be Standing Up for Herself and Glory and Being Institutionalized. That would be part 6, and that is chapters 38 to 44, and then Fighting for Freedom, which is chapter 45 to 49 at the end. So I hope you guys are okay with that. I think that that's a good way to do it. So I'm not overwhelming you guys with 49 videos going through your feed. And I'm going to space this out over probably 2 weeks or so that we'll go through it. So if you need time to read this book, you have some time, and I will be forthcoming with what chapters we will be covering at each point. In addition, I would like to do a members only stream going over um, Britney's family history because it is very dark. And now that Britney has come forward with some of this information, I feel a lot more comfortable talking about it, that she's okay with people knowing this about her family because some of it is very dark, it's very disturbing, and I don't want to have to censor myself when I'm talking about these types of issues. So, for that purpose, I likely will have it in the members only section. So, if that is something you are interested in, you will have to become a member to take part in that with me. And I'm not trying to do it to exclude anybody. I'm just trying to work with the community guidelines of this platform and not hurt my channel in the process. So I hope that that makes some sense. Um, I'm seeing support I need to get to. Thank you guys all for being here. It's crazy. Never had this many people before. Ah. And I will say, if you're on the fence, please consider subscribing to my channel. It would mean a lot to me. It really helps me out. I am fighting this algorithm. I want to get to 30,000 subscribers. I like doing this and I want to do it more. And the reality is, the more of you that hit that subscribe button, the better that is. So please consider doing that. Also, if you think you're subscribed to me, please double check. I literally got a message from someone who is a member. They are a space angel and they got unsubscribed. I don't know what's going on, but it is happening. So please consider that. But let's see what you guys have been up to. So I see a super chat from NPNG Creative Media, who I believe is a new member today. Hello. What's up at A Up Kim? Britney forever. 100%. Thank you. Thank you. Shauna sent a $10 super chat, which you don't need to do, Shauna. Thank you. She just said, I can't believe you read the whole book in one night. Thanks for, sorry? Thanks for the time you put in to bring us this stream. Much love. No problem, Shauna. Ultimately, I mean, something that has meant a lot to me through this whole process of going on the internet and people knowing me because I talk about Britney and I talk about pop culture stuff is 2007, 2008 for me was really difficult in the sense of being a fan of hers. I was young. And every day when I just saw the headlines and saw how horribly people were treating Britney, I just wanted to be able to do something to make things better for her in any way that I could. Um, and now I get to have the privilege of raising my voice and trying to elevate her truth, what she wants people to hear, what she wants people to understand. And I get to do that, and people actually listen, which is crazy. So I am so happy that it is happening. It is wonderful for me to have that experience. And so, as much as, yes, it is work, it's amazing and it's so fulfilling. And I'm so happy that I get to do it. And I'm so proud of Brittany. And I'm so glad that you guys are on this journey with me. Producer sister tried to get my attention.
I don't think you did the two before NPNG. There was a comment from Lulu's mom.
Yes, we did talk about Lulu's mom.
Did we?
Yeah, the $5 super chat. Sorry, producer sister just wants to make sure I don't miss anything because I do care about your support.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah. No, so Lulu's mom said
Joanne did 10 memberships.
yes, Joanne did 10 memberships after being a member for 7 months. Joanne, thank you so much for your support and doing that again. And thank you so much, Lulu's mom, for your super chat too. Thank you, NPGNG, for becoming a member as well as your super chat. And also thank you, Shauna, for the gifted memberships, and Katie, Artist94, for the gifted memberships. I hope that that is I've covered everything. You guys are amazing. I did get a super chat from Mama Ro saying, thank you, Kim. Great content, and I love how you present it. Well, thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. It was very generous of you. Oscar Budzinski, I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. I'm so sorry. But Oscar, I wish Brittany would do the audiobook. I totally understand why she didn't, but it would make the experience so much better. And I mean, same. And that's what I mean. Like, I understand why, but it's still a bummer, right? It's a bummer, but I get it, if that makes sense. Taylor Stevenson said, sent a $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Saying, love your streams, Kim. Thank you. I'm glad. I work hard. I want to make sure that it's good for you guys, and I try to keep stuff in order and be organized. So that basically wraps up my review. I was planning on being on here for about an hour, so I would say I've got about 15 minutes left. I don't want the review to go much longer than that. I am going to try to trim this video down a little bit so I can have it as an actual video, not so much of a live stream, so that other people that want to see the review will see the review. I guess I'm going to open it up. If you guys have any questions for me, now is a great time to ask me, and I will do my best to answer those questions and go from there. Lindsay P just said maybe she will do audio for the next book. I hope that by the time she gets to the next book, that she is feeling better, that she has healed more and it's more comfortable. Emily said, as a mom of 4, I cried a few times listening to the book. It's so upsetting. I hope she sues. I hope she gets justice because it's just awful. It's awful. Planet Q's Queen. It's Kim. Does she talk about being on Star Search? Yes, she does talk about being on Star Search. I believe actually it was earlier than when she was 10 years old. I feel like that's too late in the timeline, if I'm remembering correctly. No, she was 10. You're right. When she was 10, she was invited to be a contestant on Star Search. Yep. She does talk about that. She talks about Ed. She talks about the other people that she competed against, what she did, how she felt, all those types of things. That is mentioned in the book. Da, da, da. KDR94, I have a feeling we won't have a what the what. No, not today. Not today. Yesterday's was more than enough. Producer sister needs time to recover.
There actually is one in your inbox.
Oh my gosh, no. We'll save that for tomorrow. We will have a what the what in the next stream. For those of you that don't know and don't watch my streams regularly, we usually have a section, second half of my streams where we read something from around the internet that is fun, entertaining, crazy, silly, hilarious, all types of things. And we call it what the what. So we've had a crazy couple of what the what's lately, and I can tell you this community has gotten invested. So that's been fun. Okay, so Hen Solo, the chicken. Hi, it's Kim. I haven't read it yet. Just wanted to see what you thought first. Hope you have been well. Thank you very much, and I'm thank you for coming to see my thoughts. I would encourage you to take a look at it. Yeah, you were absolutely right, Planet Q's Queen. You were right. You're right. It was 10 years old. It was 10 years old. Miss Ace just said, caught up. What's your next goal for your office? I don't know. I'd like to have more vinyls up on the wall. Like, I'd like to put more over here, as much as I love this sign. And for those of you that don't know, it literally, hang on, it says, what matters most in life are quotes and the stuff that tell you what life is really about. And here's a picture of a tree. It was one of those signs. I saw it. I could not stop laughing. I had to get it. And I put it up because I had nothing else to put up on this wall. So I have a lot of other vinyls I would love to put up, but I got to get frames for that. So that will happen as time goes on. Crystal R said, was Justin her first kiss? Yes. Yes. It was a truth or dare game. And Justin was dared to kiss Britney. But I think we've known that I think that has been somewhat known. I don't know. Like, I feel like I've heard it before, but I don't know. Thank you, Candace J. Producer sister, I love your effort. Yes, can we get some love for producer sister? Because she's amazing. Let me see here. Henselo also asked, what was the what last time? We finished a saga that we called the Dan saga. It was about a very, very entitled family. I cannot get into it. We do not have time for me to read this again. Oh my gosh, like save me. I guess this is it. Yes. So this is literally the title of the Reddit posts that we read, there have been multiple updates, and it's my parents told my brother that he could take my house and I could just live in the camper in the backyard because I'm single and he has a wife and kids. And there is absolutely nothing incorrect about that title. It was insane. Insane. Um, so sometimes we read stories like that. Sometimes we look at funny pictures. Sometimes we look at funny pets. Sometimes we look at fails, all types of stuff. Colin said, "Do you think this book will be as big a bombshell as Jeanette McCurdy's was? Because that book had a lot of bombshells. I think in sales alone, she is going to surpass that. And I think with the bombshells for the general public, it will be more. But I think Jeanette's book is fantastic. And it was a very scary one, I think, for her to have to release in some ways because of, I mean, just I don't want to say the title of the book because I don't know if the community guidelines will get mad at me, but she was very brave to talk about the things that she talked about and the dynamics within families and child stardom. And I think I'm proud of her for that. I think she did a great job. Da, da, da. Let me see here. Emma said, "Good morning from Australia. I ordered it yesterday, but I probably won't get it until next week." It is so weird how many people got it and then didn't. Like, and I don't know why. I don't know why that was the case. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me keep going. Do, do, do. Just reading through here. Lindsay P said, "Same. I'm hoping she makes an album and does a tour that is crazy successful and sold out. And then she writes a book about her life after the conservatorship with the boys in her life. It could be very interesting." I am hoping that we will see new music from her, not because I like want it like above all else, but because in the past it has been healing for her. So if it is healing for her, like please like go for it. And I'd love to see what she comes out with. Let me see here. Oh, you guys all talking about the Dan saga. The Dan saga. Oh my goodness. Producer sister love. Um, Seeing some love. Thank you. Hey Kim, Pixie Dust 1958 said, "I've been following you, Stef and Lewis and Popcorn Planet. Since Popcorn Planet during the JD trial. I finally caught alive. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for following us for so long. I hope you have enjoyed our content. Um, you guys make all this possible. So thank you. Thank you so much." Daily dysfunction. F Dan. Mood. Mood. Oscar said, "I thought this book was a cash grab, but it wasn't. I don't think it is. I don't think it's a cash grab. I am happy that Britney is making bank because she deserves it. She deserves it. And I think if she wants to go to all of the tropical vacations she wants and roll around on the beach naked and have the time of her life and she needs money to do that, please let her enjoy her life. Let her enjoy her life." Um Candence J, "OMG, I have to go look. The story is wild. Please tell me how it ends." The Dan saga. Okay, the Dan saga, I believe the first part of the Dan saga was okay. Producer Sister has shared the links of the Dan sagas. There are timestamps in each of those streams that tell you when the what section begins. Feel free to use that if you want to catch up. It was epic, Womix. Or is it Womanix? I hope I said that right. I'm sorry. Aria said Dan and family can get cactus and chili oil. Yes, they can. 100%. Um, Hen Solo. Holy smokers. Thank you for the super chat. Very, very kind of you. I don't recognize the currency and I can't copy and paste it. I got to figure it out. I got to know. But thank you so much for regardless of the amount. And that's the thing. I always get mad at myself when I don't recognize currency. So I'm like, I work with money. I should know this. But I forget some of them sometimes. Um, Glad you like the new name. Beats Alien Abduction and Conspiracy Services. An unhinged lunatic any day. Not to mention, I'm right behind you. Ah! Thank you very much. Thank you so much for thinking of me and supporting me in that way. I do appreciate it. And thank you for being here. Brittany Taylor, what is producer sister's actual name unless she wants to be called only by that? Lol. Producer sister has not made the decision to be public on the internet. I respect that decision because there is definitely a level of privacy sometimes that you give up when you choose to do this, and I do not expect anyone in my family to make that decision. And so producer sister has graciously offered to help me as much as she can, and it means the world to me, and it really does help me be able to do this. But I will go by her what she's comfortable with. So we try to not say her name. She is producer sister. She is my bestie. I love her very much.
Yay.
She goes, thanks. Thanks.
It's a rupee.
It's a rupee?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, so there is a producer sister. Yep, you got the links there. Thank you so much. Timestamps are in the comments. Yes, get that money. Yes, yes, yes. Let me see here. Fat to Fit Gregory said these book sales show the industry and her family the star power she still has when she can sell millions of books with such minimal promo. Exactly. Something that bothered me, I'm not gonna lie, last week was I saw a lot of fans that were like, why isn't Britney doing any promo? I'm like, if she did, I think it would have been overexposure because you wouldn't have been able to escape her. She would have been freaking everywhere. She was already freaking everywhere. But then you bring in like the sorry, I just lost my train of thought. I'm very tired, guys. I've been up for a lot. I'm so sorry.
You did not get enough sleep last night.
We did not. We did not. My goodness, my 84K is awful right now. I'm so sorry. Yes, and I was concerned that if she did do a sit down interview, that it would just be too much. But the bottom line was she didn't really need to. She's already broken Prince Harry's record, reportedly. She was on the front page of People magazine and like everything else, like so I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. Sage Warrior said it's Kim. Do you think Britney's parents are narcissists or just simply ABUSE or IVE alcoholic? In my opinion, she was the family scapegoat and the dynamic explains her family. Thoughts? I would agree to a certain point. I think there's definitely some issues going on. I I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor, I can't diagnose anybody. But there definitely are you can see the roles a little bit. The only thing that gets me about the Britney Spears family and I have questions about is usually when there is a scapegoat, there's also a golden child. And Britney wrote a lot about how Brian was never good enough. Britney was never good enough. Jamie Lynn, she had her teenage pregnancy and all of that, and they didn't want that to be the case. I feel like I'd have to know more about the roles to be able to make an somewhat of a credible hypothesis. So I'm not going to go there, but I am going to say there are issues here. There's issues. There's issues. There's issues. I hope that makes sense. It's a rupee. Thank you, Lindsay. I'm sorry I'm stupid. Chris Barber. I like the name producer sister. I do too. I do too. I don't know how it started. I think it was just
I think you said it one day.
I think I said it, yeah, because I was like, I didn't want to say your name and
You needed my attention.
yeah, I needed your attention. So it was like, producer sister. It just stayed. It's woman X. Okay, like woman with AY. Yeah. Yeah. I made it up in high school based on some stupid stuff I heard on Grand Theft Auto Radio. I love that. I don't mean to laugh at you. I just love when there's like inside jokes like that from stuff that you loved like in high school or whatever, and it just sticks and it never leaves. I always think those things are awesome. Awesome. Hen Solo, wait, am I behind you or did you take me off? It's Kim and you work with crypto. The only symbol you know is Bitcoin. I know many symbols within crypto. In all fairness, I do. I know many. And that's probably part of the issue is I'm more used to dealing with cryptocurrencies than I am fiat currencies in all fairness. Kyle GT, producer sister is producer sister, and she is awesome. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Pixie does 1958. I like the name producer sister. Besides, she brought us Dan. What have you done? What have you done? Planet Q's Queen, we've had 3 singles from her that were collabs, but now I want solo Britney. Okay. All right. I want to say something about Britney's music. My understanding, allegedly, she has been in the studio a little bit. And she has talked about that she has been. For the most part, my understanding of it is she's having fun. She's just trying to have fun with it. And again, part of what she talks about in this book is that she lost her passion for music because all the fun of it, all the freedom of it was stripped away from her. Although she did find a bit of that passion again on Glory. And I would say if you have not listened to the album Glory, you are missing out. I honestly think it's one of her better albums ever. I really do. I really, really do. Um, Change Your Mind, Do You Wanna Come Over? Um, there's so many good songs on that record, and also vocally, we get to hear her in a different light than we've heard her before on songs like What You Need. I love the song Liar. I love the song Liar. So it's there's lots of good songs on there that that I enjoy a lot. Um, but I have heard rumors about some songs that she potentially has written on being registered. Um, And that doesn't mean that anything is getting released, and I personally have not seen the page, that would show that, but I have heard a few people saying that they have seen a few things. I don't know if it's true or not. That is one rumor that I really wanna dig into and get my facts straight on, but if things have been registered, I would say that that is a step in the right direction of us potentially getting new music from Britney that she's been involved with and she likes. So, fingers crossed on that one. I'm hoping to find out more information about that. Uh, back to what I mentioned, Prince Harry. Wah. We want privacy. Shane said, Prince Harry who? Laughing my butt off. Yep. 100%. Let me see. Lindsay P, I'm concerned with the current reports in the last days minimizing her book because it was listed on sale as if it wasn't selling. A lot of books, though, have promos when they drop. Right? It depends on, I think the person who's selling it, all those types of things. Like, let me check something here. Let me check something here. Because we know the book is selling. We know the book is selling. That is not the concern. So the list price in my country in Canadian dollars of the book The Woman in Me is supposed to be $39.99. But if you buy the hardcover right now, it's $29.99 off of Amazon. The pricing, the sales, all that stuff, it's all going to be different. Actually, I can check and see if that is indeed the list price. Yes, the list price on the back of this book in Canadian dollars is $39.99. I did not pay that. And I think a lot of people probably didn't because of different promos that different stores were getting. Ultimately, the stores want you to buy it from them, right? They're trying to get your business. So if they can give you a better deal than the next dude, it benefits them. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. That's just my opinion. Maybe that's an uneducated opinion. Producer sister, you know more about books than I do. Okay, producer sister just has to, I think, have to be a simple country lawyer for a moment and then come back.
Yes, it's very common.
Yes, it's very common. Thank you. My apologies. Yeah, Pixie Dust 1958 said Britney is an icon. She doesn't need to do promo for the book, unlike mediocre Jada. And besides, I think she's off in interviews considering the past ones. And that was something that I did want to talk about a little bit. When you read in this book her talk about the Diane Sawyer interview, and that she said she felt like this darkness came over her after, that it changed her. When Britney was fully in control of her life while doing Blackout, and granted, she wasn't doing super well mentally through that time and stuff, she only did one interview for Blackout, and that was a radio interview with Ryan Seacrest. And he asked a question about the kids, and she was like, yeah, peace out. I'm done. I don't want to do this. So even before the conservatorship, she was like, I don't want to do interviews. So I'm not surprised. This does not surprise me in the least. Just trying to catch up here. Oh, Planet Q Queen. To me, ItsKim. Britney's parents remind me of Nick Carter's parents and how she's always the problem, but is the cash cow for the family. It's an interesting thing. That is a family dynamic that is loaded. Is loaded. I haven't looked too much into it, but I can only imagine it's tragic. The more you look at it. Colin, oh my gosh. Meanwhile, Jamie Lynn did all that promo and probably still had to use it as toilet paper. Oh gosh. I have to say, Brittany does not go easy on Jamie Lynn, although she does show her some compassion in the book. I I want to do a video on Jamie Lynn and what was said in this book about her so badly. I have so many feelings about her and this book. Are you guys okay if I give you a spoiler? Are you guys okay if I give you a spoiler? Put a 1 in the chat if you're okay with me giving you a spoiler. I'll give you guys a minute. Because I've had a few people get mad at me for spoiling it, but I'm like, I'm just reporting what everybody else is reporting. I can't help it. Okay, I'm seeing ones. Okay. So apparently, let me pull this up. Let me pull this up. Where is it? I gotta get down to it. Brittany gets out of the institution. All right. She is struggling. She is struggling. Oh, where did it go? This was the one chapter I couldn't make any notes on it because my laptop died. But essentially, what happened was she gets out of the institution, and everybody is like, everything's fine. Nobody's really, acknowledging what has happened here, and it's very weird. Let me see here. Yes. So where is it? So my mother and the girls were always hanging around in my kitchen. Jamie Lynn had scheduled all these TV show meetings when she was in Los Angeles. My dad would go with her to meetings in Hollywood, and she'd come back loud and happy. "What's up, boys?" she'd shout, walking into the kitchen seeing my sons. She really found her mojo, and I was happy for her. At the same time, I didn't particularly want to be around it just then. And she goes, "OMG, I have this really great idea for you and me," she said right after coming back from yet another meeting, as I learned, practically comatose against the countertop. Get this, a sister talk show. Every time she spoke, it was a new scheme, a sitcom, a rom com. And she talked for what felt like hours at a time while I looked at the floor and listened. And the phrase echoing in my head was, "What the F is going on?" Your sister gets out of an institution after you've been telling her, "Stop fighting. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. It's fine. It's fine. Just do what they tell you. It's fine." While she's like begging for help because they're drugging her and she's not doing well. And Jamie Lynn walks in and goes, "We should do a talk show." I don't even know how to respond to that. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know, like, what? What? Like, I'm surprised she didn't just walk in the room with like the podcast microphones and just start. Like, I don't understand why she would think Britney would even want to do that as someone that like, and the logic of it as well, of like, how would they be able to censor it, of like, because Britney wasn't allowed to talk openly in interviews and things like that. And if she did, she was censored. There was one interview where she mentioned the conservatorship and it completely disappeared. So, like, the nightmare that would have been. Also, obviously, she's not in a good place if they thought that she was so sick that she had to be sent away. Maybe this isn't the best time for her to start, I don't know, a whole freaking TV show? Am I off base? Like, does anybody else just see that that's just crazy? It's actually crazy. Colin, we don't talk about chilling with you.
Nope.
No, we do not. No, we do not. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down. Um, Let me see here. Yeah, lots of ones. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. Um, Thank you, Jen Decker, for the super sticker. I hope I haven't missed any other support. And I'm going to see if I can see it. It's the pear. Thank you for the pear. They're so cute. I love all the super stickers. The unicorn one gets me too. They're so sweet. And the hippos. I love the hippos. All right. Yeah. People just being like, what? Well, a Mandalorian, like, what? No. Wow. No. No, no, no. Yeah. Narc. Yeah. Can't, Candon said that talk show would never be live, only pre-recorded. Yeah, but I mean, even at that though, like what a nightmare it would have been to edit. You would have had to get approval for everything that she said. Like just a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. Yeah. Jennifer has just said, I'm trying to find a way to make sense of it, but I just can't. You're not gonna find it. You're not gonna find it. It's not there. It is not there. It's not there. Well, you guys, I am going to wind down. And I am planning on streaming again tomorrow afternoon, my regular Wednesday stream. Um, and we will talk about stuff in the book. If there's any other news I want to report on, that will also be here. I do other news other than Britney Spears. So if that's not your thing all the time, don't worry. There's other stuff here for you. Um, and I would love to see you stay with us, join this community. I think we have a good time. This is a place I strive to have be somewhere that you can come as you are, that we can all be kind to one another, listen to each other, have empathy, um, and laugh. Just a safe space to laugh and cry, and that's what I want to create. And I think we've started that here, and I'm so happy to see that becoming a reality. I'm waiting for comment to come through. Aria, yes, 8 passengers. Any updates? There are updates. I need to get into them. But the thing is, I've been so like in Britney world, I haven't really had a chance to like really look at everything. So I am going to try. I will try. Colin, I think we'd rather listen to I Believe on repeat than Chillin' With You.
Which I believe.
I'm assuming we're talking about Christian summer camp Britney Spears, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Or are we talking about the Canadian Olympic song?
Or are we? Yeah. Oh gosh. The other thing is like Bev. Oh my gosh. Producer sister, my bestie just said like, there was when we had the Olympics in Vancouver. Our media that showed the Olympics every time someone won a medal at the Winter Olympics, which you can imagine in Canada, we won a lot of medals, and every commercial break they played this song called I Believe. I feel like we all kind of have a little bit of like comedically, like a little bit of PTSD from that song. It's still like we hear I Believe and go, no, no. Does anyone else remember that? Or is that just us? Are we just crazy?
The first couple times it was a lovely song.
Yeah. Other than that, I think what Colin is probably referring to is when I was growing up, we basically only had Christian music in my household. I actually listened to Britney Spears hiding in my closet on the radio because I wasn't allowed. But over time, that lessened. Then I became absolutely obsessed and with music in general, and that just became a whole thing. But in the Christian music industry, as much as there are some incredible artists, and I am not trying to take away from how talented they are in the first place, there was definitely a bit when I was a teenager and a tween that the industry was obsessed with having a Christian answer to like every secular artist. So it was like you'd go into these bookstores, these Christian music bookstores and whatever, and they'd have these posters on the wall that would be like, you know, if you like Insane Clown Posse, you should listen to Demon Hunter, like for example, like something like crazy like that. And they I found this girl, I believe her name was pronounced Milani from South Africa, and I swear they tried to make her the Christian Britney Spears. And I showed everyone a song of hers, I believe, which basically sounds like a Kids Bop version of Oops, I Did It Again, put into a blender with Christian CCM. I don't even know. I don't even know. It was a moment. We all experienced it together. At least I laugh, you know, a bit. But yeah. Okay. Where am I going? I lost my place because I am tired. All right. Just going through here. Robin Redrust, emotional damage. Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Do it for Dan. Do it for Dan. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, guys, I am going to wind down. As always, I'm going to ask you guys to please consider when the stream ends. There's going to be like a closing screen for about 10 seconds, then the stream will end. If you would not mind reloading the page and leaving a comment, it helps me out a lot with engagement on this platform, and I would very, very much appreciate you guys doing that for me if you would be so willing. So, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for all of the support. You guys are wonderful. I very much appreciate it. And with that, we're going to do the outro. Hope you guys have a lovely evening. Read the book. Read the book. And I will see you all tomorrow. Unless something changes, and I'll let you guys know. Much love.